Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today for your daily pick a card tarot reading. So I always ask you to choose the stone that really resonates with your intuition, that your intuition would have you pick. And we will begin. I'll put the timestamp for each stone in the description so you can find it more quickly. And we've got the blue, this blue and gray stone. For those of you who chose that one, we have the Five of Swords, we've got the Five of Cups, and we've got the King of Coins. Okay, to me, this one is really, right away, the meaning that jumps out at me is that the fives can be a little bit of trouble. The fives, whether you're talking Five of Coins, Five of Cups, Five of Swords, no matter, they can be a little bit of trouble because they're usually a lot about what's happening in your brain. The Five of Swords is, yeah, it's a victory, but it's a cutting away one too. It's sort of like I have a problem. Somebody has a problem with me. They're walking away from me, but it doesn't matter to me. And sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we have to take the victory because somebody is being unfair or being ungenerous, or they're just not thinking of us. You know what I mean? And they don't want good to go to us. So sometimes that has to happen, but sometimes it's a way of thinking that is sort of avoidant. That's the word I want to use. It's sort of like, okay, there is an issue with somebody who is not understanding me, or somebody who's mad at me, or something like that. Or they're simply just distance. Those two are just walking away. They're not fighting him. They don't care. They're not fighting. He's the one who's doing the fighting. The sort of, okay, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to get this. And I just don't think he does himself any favors. So there's that mindset. And it comes out of a sense of lack, sometimes anxiety and worry, sometimes if this is about distance between you and somebody else, it could be about concern that any reaching out you did to them would not be welcome. It could be that. But it really is about what's in your mind. And the Five of Cups is about loss. It's looking back. It's the don't cry over spilt milk card. So it's sort of the, I'm looking back and I'm seeing my losses, and I'm not even seeing what's coming in the future. These sources of emotional fulfillment that are upright and they're ascending and they're where my future is. And I'm not even looking at that. I'm looking at the past. So it is interesting, isn't it? This could be for some of you. It's not so much that this is you right now. It could be that some of the past things you're dwelling upon are when people walked away, are when somebody walked away. And maybe it was one of those where it had to happen. It just had to happen. But yet it comes back to you sometimes and you feel bad or you feel guilty. So that can be the case too. But it's about emotions, it's about relationships, it's about regrets, it's about looking back when it's so much better to just move forward. This guy, he's looking back. He may have some unfinished business to attend to before he can move on. But then again, maybe, like I said, sometimes we just take the victory with that Five of Swords. Sometimes it really is time to let somebody go and to say, okay, I see what's going on here, because the swords are intellectual information, knowledge. I see what's happening. I've got to, we've got to part ways. That's the way it is. Or I've got to set a boundary or do what's right for me. And if others want to walk away from me when I do that, that's okay too. So for some of you, that was that kind of decision, but yet you look back sometimes and you wonder, did I do the right thing? It's very complex. But the King of Coins is telling me this. Boy, you have a practical side to you. And you are good at stability. And you're not rash. The King of Coins, he doesn't do anything rashly or impulsively. He's got vines growing over him sometimes. He takes so long to move. He's security loving. He wants things to be stable. He'd love for everybody to have security. He doesn't like drama, and he's quite practical, and he's mature with that. So that King of Coins can sometimes be, you know, that message there can be, hey, you've got it. You know, you don't second guess things from the past, please. You know, you weren't rash. You were not impulsive. So please turn around and look at what you've got. Turn around and look at greater emotional fulfillment in the future. Now, I know I read this reading both ways. You know, as if this is indicating an action that was right and wise and premeditated and not impulsive and not rash and about time. I've read it that way, and I've also read it the other way. You know, that, okay, there may be some bridges to mend, some fences to mend. So I don't know if that helps you guys with the Five of Cups. You know, in the end, I guess you have to decide for yourself. Is there anything to look back at? Or is it really not that? This is really an exercise in hearing what your intuition has to say. When I was speaking about this card as, okay, maybe there's something, some communication, maybe you want to reach out to people who walked away, and maybe because you did, there's something happened or whatever. If that really resonated with you, then that's your reading. When I was talking about that card being the well thought out, needed to happen, right action, then that's your reading. In any case, the Five of Cups is saying, don't dwell on it. Don't regret it. If you feel the need to reach out to somebody, do it and be done with it. But otherwise, just let it be. Just let it be. You know, we can also sometimes we can ask Spirit if we feel like there's something unresolved between us and another person. We can ask them, Spirit, to give us an opportunity or a leading or bring them around or make something easy, make a conversation easy. We can ask for that too. We can ask for that kind of help. So there's an ambiguous reading, but your intuition is the one that will be the answer here. Oh, that's interesting. For those of you who chose the green stone, and also, I gotta say this. The main message of the card is don't do this to yourself. Please don't. It doesn't do any good. You know, it just doesn't bring any clarity. Guilt is it just doesn't work. You know, so look forward. Look at the path forward. All right, for those of you who chose this green stone, this green with the blue speckles, we've got the High Priestess, the Knight of Swords, and the King of Wands. All right, well, that High Priestess is wonderful energy right in the middle there. That's your major arcana. So that means your intuition's pretty strong lately. It's you're understanding that there's a situation that is quite complicated, and it could even be within yourself. But that's all right. You're using your intuition and you're understanding more and more of it. That's what that means. And this may have to do with a major life goal or a purpose with this King of Rods. Hanging on to that, moving forward, staying focused, in spite of the Knight of Swords, who could be somebody in your environment being kind of aggressive and saying, hey, let's go this way. Or I think that, and your intuition is just shaking its head inside of you saying, what is he talking? No. You know? And so sometimes This is a challenge. If it's a person, it's a challenge, but not really for you today, because your intuition is quite strong and you have the maturity to know what you're doing, to know where you're going, to know what your priority is right now. And that's that, you know, you've got a mature figure here. If this is not a person, but another plan you have going, because the swords are plans. Sometimes the knight can be a plan that's sort of halfway to completion, or it's halfway formulated. And so you're thinking about it a lot, because the Knight of Swords can be kind of obsessive, like, I'm thinking about this, and that's what I'm thinking about, and that's where we're going. So that's okay. If that's the challenge, then your intuition from the High Priestess will also let you know if you're heading in the right direction, will help you to get some calm about it, to be enlightened as you plan. You know, the swords are intellect, the swords are knowledge, the swords are planning, eloquence, sometimes speech. So the High Priestess can be a nice guide, a nice stabilizing kind of deep source of strength and wisdom within you. So whatever it is that is challenging it a little bit, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. You just sail through that. You are just fine. Okay. Even if you don't always feel like it, because this guy does bring a little bit of excitement. All right. For those of you who chose the tan petrified driftwood here, just beautiful, we've got the Death card, we've got the Three of Wands and the Eight of Wands. Okay, so there's an end of something. I feel like it may not be anything that big, though, even though the Death card is a major arcana, because you know why? You have so much going on. You've got Eight of Wands. Things are really moving forward in the right direction on a number of fronts. So, and you're doing it. You may be busy. Your thoughts may be busy. But you are moving things right along. And not only that, but you have invested some energy into something that you're hoping will pay off. You know, this is the waiting for his ship to come in. So whatever it is that's ending, it's probably something you've decided needs to go by the wayside, or is not a priority, or yeah, you just you've made a decision and you just don't have time for something because you've got so many other things going on here. So that might be an end that was necessary to bring in your reward, to bring in, waiting for your ship to come in, to bring in the result that you've been looking for and working toward. So I just don't feel like this Death card's a bad card. I feel like it's, if you feel like you've let something go, or you're kind of lost enthusiasm for something, because see, the rods are all about enthusiasm in life, and you got plenty of enthusiasm in life and purpose here for a lot of different things, a lot of things you want to do. So you've got plenty of that. If something is kind of dying on the vine, you know, it's withering on the vine, one of your goals that you've had, maybe it's okay for that to happen right now. You know, it may not be permanent. It may be permanent, but it's okay. It's okay. You've got a lot going on. You're moving in the right direction. And the wands, you know, sometimes they're tasks or goals or priorities. And sometimes there really are kind of thoughts, like, I want to do this. I feel led to do that. And, you know, they're thoughts sometimes too, plans, kind of simple plans, though, not detailed plans. Those are the swords. So there you go. Looks like things to me are moving in the right direction. And do not fret about anything you've sort of let go by the wayside, because it was probably time to do that. That's what I'm seeing there. For those of you who chose the Tiger's Eye, we have got the Judgment card, the Tower, and the Six of Swords. Yeah, the Judgment. So okay, well, there you go. Now, the Judgment card's quite empowering. It's usually about having great clarity now, like, now I know the right way to go, the right way to look at this. And it's wonderful. Okay, but the Tower now, you might have had a Tower moment to get you there. You might have had a Tower moment, something that changed, something that was a surprise to you, unexpected, that really lit things up and clarified things for you. Yeah, I feel like for some of you, this is about a person or people, a person. You know, maybe there was a conversation that really, really, kind of took you by surprise, but you went, oh, now I see, and the clarity is wonderful. So it can be a little bit uncomfortable, but since the Tower card comes with the Judgment card and the Six of Swords, which is terrific because that means you're taking even difficult lessons you've learned into calmer shores, to a more hospitable shore, to use what you've learned to make a better life in the future. That's what that is. It's not loss. It's, oh boy, have I learned a lot. So with this card and this card, to me, the Tower is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's clarity. It's something that helps you move it right along. Something just kind of snaps into place a little more, or falls into place a little more, not snaps, but it falls into place a little more, and you understand your situation better, and then you can make a good decision. And these two cards together, yeah, part of that good decision is difficult things you've learned. Part of that, you're already mining and using some of the difficult things you've learned to make better decisions and be more decisive. So I feel like for some of you, there was a question in your mind kind of jangling around back there, and there's a sudden shift and a sudden clarity. All right. For some of you who don't feel like looking at the cards and saying, I don't think anything huge is happening right now. Well, you notice the lightning bolt hits the crown. It's it can be sort of like a lightning bolt to your brain, a lightning bolt to your mind, like an epiphany. Especially with this spiritual card, it could be like an angelic message. And look he's got the trumpet. This is Gabriel, angelic message here. So this can be a thought, just like I say a lot of times, drops through the top of your skull and, oh, oh, I get it. Ah, I see it now. Wow, why didn't I see that? But this is saying leave the pain behind. You're leaving the pain behind. You're leaving the difficult experiences behind, and you can use this to make for a better future. All right. Well, I thank you all so very much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.